Hello guys, so today we are going to be working on a fictional budget. I speak to so many people and so many people have concerns on even sitting down and just creating their own budget. So I asked some questions like, what's concerning you about creating a budget? Some people have told me, well, I'm just concerned that, it's going to really limit me from the things that I want to do, or, it's going to make me feel as if I don't have the money to do what I want to do. I have to feel restricted, or like there's some limits with what I can do. Okay, so let me just go ahead and just ease all your fears away. So creating a budget is not really about limiting yourself. It's actually about planning. So this way you can have room for the things that you want to do just by creating a plan. And that starts with a budget. So really a budget is just going down what your finances are between your incoming and your outgoing, and then determining what you're going to do with your money by assigning it. See, this is the thing. You want to be able to assign your money, because if you don't, your money will go wherever because you never designated it, right? So you always want to have an aim as to where your money's going to go. So with that being said, I want you to recognize that a budget is not about limit. A budget is about structure, order, assigning your money so that you can have the freedom and the liberty to spend what you need to spend, where you need to spend it, without spending beyond your means. You want to work your budget because it is a form of good stewardship. It is a sign of good wisdom from your end to be able to just sit down, look at your finances for what they are, and then just go ahead and create the budget. So on this video today, I'm going to go ahead and create for you just a fictional budget, just to ease your fears on creating a budget. I know that it's gonna seem harder than what it really is, but I just want you to just be at peace and know that setting a budget is probably gonna be one of the best things that you will ever have done. You get to look at your numbers, you get to see what you have, you get to see what you don't have, and you have the opportunity to assign your money where it needs to go. So with that being said, let's just get right to it. Okay, so for this, you will be needing just a notebook with a plain sheet of paper, of course your pen or pencil, marker, whatever have you that you're comfortable using, and of course do not forget your calculator so you can run your numbers. Okay, so we're gonna get ahead because I want to make this as simple as I can. You don't have to get fancy with it. Of course, after you've gotten just more experience in creating a budget, if you want to get like a specific budget journal, you can definitely do that. And to be quite honest, I'm going to just show you one here that I have, and I've been using this one for a few months now, and it's been working pretty well for me. It's called a Very Smart Budgeting. So I've been able to just track all my money. So this specific journal here, I'm going to show you exactly what it has. It has room for you to just go ahead and write out your monthly budget with your initial balance, income, date, the amount, and just go ahead and writing in your fixed expenses, other expenses, and then obviously just tallying up your income, fixed expenses, and knowing what your final balance is, right? Included in this journal, you have an income tracker, you have a savings tracker. And then, of course, if you are a cash stuffing person or looking to start the journey of the cash stuffing system, then you also have room here to go ahead and write in all of your envelopes, all of the categories, the date and the amount that you're putting in, and then, of course, the balance that you have in each of those envelopes, right? So we'll talk a little bit more about the cash stuffing system. I don't know if I'll be able to do that in this video. I want to try to focus on the budget, but I will definitely be creating a video on the cash stuffing system. But I wanted to show you a journal that you can perhaps use. I will go ahead and put the link down below if you're interested in purchasing this specific journal. Okay, so let's just get started with the budget. So the first thing that you're going to do, right, and we're going to name this person here, let's just come up with a name for Susie. Okay, so this is Susie's budget. So we're going to write Susie's name here, Susie's budget. Now, I'm just going to create a scenario here. Susie is a single mom. So Susie has one child. Susie works one job. Susie's salary per month is $4,000. So let's just go ahead and put in here what her income is. So income monthly this is her take home. She takes home $4,000 a month. Okay, so now that we have her income, Susie does not have any other income. She just has her work income, which is $4,000, right? Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and draw out her expenses, right? So Susie, she rents a 2-bedroom apartment, and she lives actually in South Carolina, where the prices for a 2-bedroom are not as high as they would be for, like, let's say New York or California, right? So you're looking at something approximately $1,600. So we're gonna go ahead and put in here her rent is, let's say, $1,600. Susie pays $1,600 in rent. Susie has a car payment, and her car payment is $250 a month. Susie also pays electric in her apartment, and her bill every month is approximately $75 per month. Okay, she has her phone, and for her phone, she is paying $70 for her phone. Okay, so let's see here. We have rent, we have her car payment, her electric bill, and her phone bill. And then she's actually trying to save money. So she doesn't have like cable. She has one subscription to Netflix. So for Netflix, she is paying approximately $14 a month, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so now she has her subscription. So now we're looking also at groceries. So like I said, it's only Susie and her daughter. So on average, she is spending about $150 a week. And if we do the math with $150 a week times the 4 weeks, we're looking at $600 she's averaging on groceries for her and her daughter. Okay, what am I missing? I'm missing transportation. So for her gasoline, she drives a 4-cylinder, 4-door Honda Civic. Okay, and for her gas, because she works close to home, she's only paying approximately $50 a week. So $50 a week times the 4 weeks, that's $200. Okay, let's see if we have covered the 4 walls, which is your housing, your food, your transportation, and your utilities. We have covered all of her expenses, right? So now what we're going to do, right? You have your income, $4,000, and now these are your expenses: rent, car payment, electric, phone, subscription, groceries, gasoline. You know what? Let's add in her lunch, because she actually buys lunch every single day. So she says she spends an average of $10 to $15 when she gets lunch. So let's just go on the lower side, and $10 times 5 is $50. So she's spending approximately $200 to eat lunch outside, right? Okay, let's see, what else is she doing? So we have her housing, her car payment, her utilities, her subscription, her food, her lunch, and her transportation, right? Okay, so those are her expenses. Now, once again, this is only an example that we're using, right? So now we're going to go ahead and add up all of her expenses. So let's start here with the rent, which is, make sure that you can see. Okay, so her rent, making sure that you can see. Okay, so her rent is $1,600. Her car payment is $250. Her electric is $75. Her phone bill is $70. Her Netflix is $14. Groceries is $600. Gasoline is $200. And lunch is $200. So we have a total of $2,996. $209 $2,996. So let's just go ahead and write that in here. $2,996, right? So now we're going to go ahead and take the income, which is $4,000, and we're going to subtract it by her expenses, which is $2,996, right? So let's see, minus the 4,000. So she has remaining 1,000. This is her balance after expenses is $1,004, right? So we want to know more or less how much is that averaging per week. We'll take that amount, the 1,004, and divide it by 4 weeks, just to give you, depending on how Susie gets paid. Susie gets paid, we're going to say weekly. So she's looking at an average of $251 that she has weekly, right? If she's only paying exactly all of her expenses, this is what she's going to have left over after everything is paid. Now, with that being said, right, Susie has some goals. She has some plans. She's looking to save money, number one, but more importantly, she's looking to come out of debt. Susie has a credit card bill that she owes, and that bill is $2,000. She has a minimum payment of $50. So let's just go ahead and take now a clean new sheet, and we're going to write now what her debt is. So this is her debt. She has one credit card. I'll just put CC for credit card. And the total balance on that card is $2,000. She has a 26.99 interest rate. And currently, her minimum payment is $70 a month. Okay, so what we want to do, this is her only debt. She just has that credit card, and then she's also looking to save money. But Susie wants to be able to save money after she comes out of debt, because Susie has realized now that before she can even save money, she wants to be free from debt so that she can become aggressive in her saving, right? So we're going to leave save down here, and we're going to work on credit card now. So we know that Susie has $251 a week, which totals $1,004 a month left over, right? So what we're going to do now is begin to assign that money. We want to assign what's left over, $1,004, right? So we want to aggressively knock this balance out of $2,000, right? You don't want to just stick to just a monthly payment. If that's what you can pay, that's fine. But in this case, Susie has enough margin to actually pay this debt off quicker than one would think, because if she was to pay $70 a month, it would take her a pretty long time to pay off just the $2,000 with the interest rate of 26.99, right? Because we know that she's not going to be paying back $2,000. It's going to be more than that with the interest. So what we want to do in a case like this is Susie now needs to become aggressive, because Susie has margin. She has money left over. So Susie is going to get ahead, and out of that $1,004, she's going to go ahead and take out a percentage of this amount so that she can begin to attack this debt aggressively. Now you may be asking, well, how much would that be? Well, that really depends on your picture. And we saw your picture here, right? So you have to just make sure when you have your budget that you are writing everything of your expenses here. Like, you cannot leave anything out. You want this to be as accurate as possible. Will you make mistakes? Absolutely. But you want to try to be as accurate as possible, because these are your numbers. These are your finances. So you want to be sure that you are budgeting according to the actual numbers that are not only coming in, but that are going out, so that you know what you are working with moving forward, right? So let's just say in this example that Susie is going to go ahead and she's like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and take $700 out of the $1,000 that I have remaining. So let's take that $1,004, because she's really trying to be aggressive. She really wants to pay off this debt. So we're going to take $1,004 and we're going to subtract the $700. Now she has $304, and we're going to divide that by 4 weeks. She has $76 as margin in 1 week. Right? And you may be thinking, well, that's not a lot, right? But guess what? Mortgage is paid, card payment is paid, utilities are paid, phone is paid, subscriptions are paid, there's groceries, there's transportation, there's lunch. When you're covering your four walls, that's what you want to focus on when you're trying to come out of debt. This is your focus, right? I even threw in Netflix to be really quite technical with you. You can probably even skip that to save money, but I just left it there because I know that that's a form of entertainment, right? Okay, so I'm trying to allow for some wiggle room here so I don't sound so strict with a budget. Okay, so now that we know that she's going to attack that $2,000 by saying, you know what, I'm going to pay $700. Now I want you to see this. From that $2,000 minus the $700, she only has now a debt of $1,300 to pay, right? Which means now that if she's attacking this amount with the $70 a month, the interest that she's going to be paying will be much less than with the balance of the $2,000, because remember, your interest rate is based on your balance, right? So this is giving her some kind of leverage. The goal is to try to pay the debt as soon as possible, eliminating it, right? But because we're working with her numbers and we're working with what she has left over, we didn't want to leave Susie with no money, because we also know that you need some kind of like buffer. You need some kind of extra cash just in case of anything, right? And that's when we're going to do cash stuffing. So we took the $700. Now she has a balance on her credit card of $1,300. Look at this. Okay. And she's still paying the $70 a month, right? So now if you do the math, right, and we're going to just work with these exact numbers just for right now, $1,300, right? And let's divide that by $70. It's going to take her, oh my God, look at this. It will take her 18 months. 18 months, which means if she pays $70 in 1 year, that's only $840. Do you really want to get stuck paying a $1,300 debt by paying $70 a month? No. So let's change this and try to become more aggressive and pay more money each month instead of just sticking to the 70. Now, how do we know that's possible? We saw her margin. We saw her numbers. We saw that there was money left over. So instead of saying, you know what, but let me keep money in my pocket, no, let's become aggressive and let's just knock this out as much as we can. So what are we going to do? So here comes next month. Next month, she still has $1,004 left, right? So out of that $1,004 that she has left on the next month, she can take another $700 and pay off out of that $1,300, which now leaves her with only $600, right? Look at the big difference, right? So now if she was attacking this amount and per se paying more than the minimum payment that's due, in this case, let's just say because she has margin for it, we can say she's going to pay, because she really wants to knock this out, $150 a month. And you're saying, wow, that's kind of a lot. It's really not. She has the extra, she has the cash flowing after all of her expenses are paid. So she's going to take that $150. So guess how long it's going to take her to pay now? $600. Come on, you guessed it. So $150, that's $300. In as little as 4 months, sweet Susie will be out of debt, because she will have paid off this amount, because she went aggressive with it. She didn't just stick to a minimum, because she had leverage to do so. So what do we have now? Susie paid off her debt. Congratulations, Susie. You paid off your debt. Now we can look at save. Now, because, listen to this, because she was able to pay aggressively $700 and then aggressively $600, we know she has the margin for it. So guess what she's going to do? Because she has some goals that she wants to meet. So now she is going to save $700 a month, because she has $1,000 left over, right? So she's going to save $700 a month. And in 1 year, that's $8,400. When she has that $8,400, either she keeps that money in cash, I'd recommend that you go ahead and put that, open up a money market account, a savings account, put your money somewhere where you're going to receive like a high interest on the money that you're depositing, wherever you decide to park your money. Make sure that you're getting the best interest, which I know interests are not really high right now, but if you do your research, you will find them. I will be creating another video on the banks that are offering the best interest for your money. So notice how Susie went from being in debt to being free to now saving money and now having a cash flow. This is a budget, but not only is it a budget, it is a plan. Susie made up her mind and said, I refuse to live paycheck to paycheck. That doesn't have to be my story. She said, though I may receive a paycheck every week, that doesn't mean I have to live according, or I don't have to live paycheck to paycheck. What does that mean? That means that although you make a certain amount, you're not just depending on the next check to make ends meet. Because you set a plan and a budget, you know you have wiggle room, right? So now that she has been putting in her money every single month, $700, she still has 1,004 minus the 700. She still has 300. Put it on this side, $304 still remaining as left as balances of what she has after paying the expenses on this page, after paying the expenses and after putting money away in the bank, right? So now you may be asking, what can she do with this 304? Well, that's when you can begin to cash stuff your money, create a system, which I will be talking about that on my next video, how you can now go ahead and assign the $304, right? And you can create for yourself different categories on how you're going to choose to spend your $304, whether it's through being generous and giving, or whether it's, for fun money, or whether it's for like, okay, that's going to be for dining out, or it's going to be for more entertainment, or it's going to be for whatever it may be. But at least now you have a budget. You created a plan. Listen, y'all, the Bible says that my people perish for lack of knowledge. But you know what else? My people perish when they don't write the vision down. You may be thinking that this is not a vision, but it is. Because if you set the plan and you write it down and you make it plain, guess what? Whatever you write down, you become committed to it. It's your covenant, it's your plan, it's what you're going to do, because you know you're accountable to what you have written and what you decided to do. So now that you know that is as easy as 1, 2, and 3, writing it down, you will know that you have money left over. So again, to start this is very simple, and you can get a notebook from Dollar Tree. I don't want to hear excuses that, I can't afford to just, I can't afford to budget. No, you cannot afford to not budget. You cannot afford to not budget. There's so many people who are, I'm broke. I don't have enough money for that. That's because some of us are just not budgeting right. And I know, because I was that person. Okay. And that's why I speak from experience. There's some of us that we're just not budgeting. We're not taking the time to sit down and look at our numbers. I know that was it for me. And once I took a look at my numbers, I was like, oh my God, I really have to make some changes. I'm spending too much money here. I'm investing too much on this, and I have to make changes if I want to see a return, right? Because at the end of the day, you want an ROI, right? You want a return of interest, don't you? So with that being said, I hope that I have eased your fears on sitting down and just creating the budget. So again, just get yourself a journal, a plain notebook. If you want to get fancy with it, get a budget planner. You will see that once you start the system of budgeting, you're never going to want to go backwards. You will find yourself budgeting. And I'm not saying that you're going to be this person that's going to be like, every single day, I'm like, oh my God, no. I mean that you're going to be structured, disciplined, and you're going to be able to sign your money, tell your money where to go. Will you be perfect? No. Will you make some mistakes? Absolutely. And that's okay. But just know that if you don't start, you can't get to your goal. So the only way to get to your goal is to actually start. right? So I hope that this video has been effective. I hope this video has really eased your fears on starting a budget. I am here to help you. I'm here to encourage you. I'm here to motivate you. I'm here to inspire you and let you know that you can do it. You can write the vision down and make it plain. You are able to do this. You got this, my dear. So with that being said, I hope that this was effective for you. I hope that you have learned and that your fears are now more at ease, and you're saying to yourself, you know what, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to get ahead and create a plan. I have a vision in mind. I'm going to get ahead and write the vision down and make it plain. I'm going to create my budget. If you need any more encouragement or inspiration, you know where to find me. This was Very Smart Budgeting. Bye-bye.